This is Daniel Eli, reincarnated biblical prophet, incarnate angel, author of finalbookofdaniel.com and timeprophet2012.com. This video is basically entitled, roughly, New Age Spirituality, Awareness, Growth, New Age, basically anything about God, spirituality, growth, meditative, prayer, Bible, anything you want to know about 2012 New Age spirituality. We discuss it here. This is video number 4, part of a 5-part series. So enjoy the video. Here we go. Start now.
Alright, now you're saying two different things. But I'm going to focus on the first thing. Alright. This is what Jesus said. And the reason why I take what Jesus quoted, because I quote a lot from Jesus because he is the truth. And there are lots of people that are being deceived. The reason why I say it is because if Jesus is telling the truth and I'm doing opposite what Jesus said, then maybe I'm following a lie. So and the question is, are you following a lie? Are you doing something that is not really helping you? Or that is not for your greater good? Or you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing really coming from the depths and the core of my heart? Is it really coming from my heart? Not because I want people to look at me as great, people to see me as great, but it really comes from the core of my heart and I really want to do it. Because who you are, it's as if, when you say who you are, it's not just giving people, yeah, that's a part of who you are, but it's not who you are. When you talk about who you are is something precious. So, yes, part of you wants to give to people and, and help the poor and do a lot of stuff. But there is also a very small part of you that is very precious. And it's like a pearl. And you don't just give that pearl that I'm talking to you about, you don't give that away to anybody. Right? To just anybody. You don't. I mean, sure, yeah, you have other people. I would love to help other people. That would be great. If I just go and help other people, and everyone would, everything would be great, and everything was good. If I could just wish things into being, I would do it. And everything would be a good place. But it doesn't seem like it works that way. And the other thing that you talked about was, I forget what other thing you talked about. Oh, you said something about, I forgot. Anyway, I'll just let the conversation roll, I guess. Alright, that's Mike.
I guess I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm speaking from personal experience, but I'm not coming from a religious point of view. I don't quote Jesus' sayings at all, and I don't. This isn't a religion room, is it? But we have two different ideas, and we live it however we want to, I guess. As long as if you want to withhold parts of yourself, that's your prerogative. Me, on the other hand, will hand over myself as much as I want to anyway in helping people. I don't think you can get hurt by that neither. But everybody, I think we're all on the same page with what we're saying here regarding being positive or thinking. When I first arrived, it was about thoughts, the conversation, the thinking and feeling and what that's actually doing to us. And I think managing your thoughts, we need to concentrate exactly what it is that you're thinking and feeling, because creation takes place when you do those things. Very simply put, positive and negative is the only way that we can behave and do. So, when you concentrate on the negatives of the world, starvation of people and systems and all that seems to haunt people by the masses and installs fear, those things are not to be concentrated on. We don't need to be a part of that. Unless that's your thing and you want to, then go for it. But be prepared. If you want to be a part of all that, then be prepared of the consequences of hanging around with things like that.
Well, I don't feel that, helping one or two people, that's nothing, I think actually helping the masses and doing something huge for the world is something much more worthy of spending your time on and focusing on and trying to do something for this world than just a couple people every now and again, because that's just how it is. Why would you help a few people when you could help millions of people and everyone?
When I think what's worthy, right, it's not giving to the poor, it's not feeding millions of children in Africa, it's not freeing all the captives in Korea and Japan. But I think the greatest part you can do in this life is to expand yourself. And when I say self, it's that the light within, to expand that light, that is the greatest part, the greatest thing you can do. Because it's the light that's going to guide you, that light. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or if I'm just, like an old man in the desert, just trying, hoping to get on the same page with other people. Well, when I say the light, I mean the light as in love. Love. The feeling is that feeling you get inside once a certain day on Christmas, and you give a homeless person a blanket and a pillow to sleep on. Yeah, that's light. That's the light I'm talking about. Because anything beyond that, or above that, or around the circle of that, counts for nothing. Because it's not who you are. So I don't care if you gave 500 million packages to Africa and you freed 3,000 slaves. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, because if you didn't do it out of the kindness, out of the love, out of the vortex of that light, then all didn't mean anything. Am I talking the truth, or am I saying something that's contrary to common opinion? Alright, see? I'm talking the truth then. So I think that staying in the vortex is what Abraham Hicks calls it. Jeez. Well, I just call it the light, or, Alright, that's the mic.
Well, we're all on the same page here, so that's cool. You guys are pretty nice. I didn't know what I was going to get coming in here. I went to a few other rooms that were quite bogus. So I have to say thank you for your discussions, and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. And the intellectual discussion that's been taking place has been quite pleasing.
Okay, Sandy, you're glad to have you here for one thing, but you're part of a 4-part segment that we're recording so far. I'm going to make these into a YouTube video thing. I'm going to title it How to Spirituality for the New Age. Even though it may not be exactly what we're talking about right now, it sort of lump sums a lot of different topics into one video series. And so what is your take on spirituality and spiritual growth? I'm asking Zaddy in particular here, but this is for everyone, because I'm trying to keep it like roughly on topic in the general realm of things. Talk about anything you want, but I want to keep it according to that title, right? Like spirituality for the new age, spiritual growth for the new age, tradition versus reality of the new age. Like I'm using new age a lot here in my phraseology, but like modern spirituality, right? Spiritual growth, spirituality, religion, that kind of thing. We're trying to keep it on that level.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's great that you're doing that. What's my take on it? I think it's paramount for one to self-discover their own ability of being the best human being one can be. And doesn't that start with understanding the self? What exactly is self? Spirit, spiritual, soul, mind, I don't know, trying to discover all those things. Spiritual growth, yeah, hell yeah, I want to be a part of that. Do I really want to be who I was when I was 19 years old? I had a hot body back then. I swear to God, I was the thing. But did I have the intellect? No. Did I have the wittiness? Hell no. Did I have the spirituality that I had back then? No. I was stupid, naive. I did not know much about life. I am almost 40 years old and I appreciate who I am now because of my spiritual growth. And all of my experiences, be it negative or positive, has only enhanced me as a human. And I think every year I get older and older as a gift. And I'm becoming more spiritually aware of myself and my surroundings. And the more wiser I become, I think that is my development of spiritual growth. I understand a lot better. I understand the world and people and me and everything that's in it and my involvement with everything. I get it now. I would never trade being 19 to who I am today.
And may I ask how old you are?
I'm 39, almost 40. But I guess my point was, a lot of us wish that we could be young again. Oh, the young. Are you kidding? I'm sorry, I love being 39. And I'm going to love being 69. Because there's so much stuff I know now. There's just, my mind has opened up and expanded on such a large level. And thankfully, and it's become my spiritual awareness of everything that is around me is on such a high, I feel it's on such a high level that I would never want to trade places with a young person. I'd never want to go back in time. And I'm excited about getting older in life because it's like, what else am I going to know? What else am I going to discover about my own spiritual self? Not just me neither, but other spiritual beings. Not just humans neither, but animals, creatures, trees, plants, the earth itself. Hey, the universe. When you expand your mind, spiritual growth blossoms. You can't go back once it opens. There's just no way.
Well, Well, there is some people who unfortunately go through regressive phases, right? Where things will seem fine for a while, but then they start losing faith, right? Even though they may have seen like genuine miracles and dramatic things and everything, the memory of them fades and the excitement of them fades. Then they start losing faith. They stop going to church. They just stop reading scriptures, and then things become dull for a while, and then they become confused, and they don't know where they're going and what they're looking for, what the meaning of life is. So they get lost, right? So they have to find their way back, so to speak.
That's kind of cool though, Daniel. I think, when I observe, I look at things and I look at people's experiences, how they tell their stories or what they're currently going through, and I think we have no right to tell a person how to live their lives, even if it's on a bad way. Because I think them in themselves are going on a journey. And it's sad to say this, but some of my greatest lessons that I've learned in life has been in a bad experience. Or I've got some great things out of it that I know I would never learn that lesson if I hadn't been involved in a bad experience or been a part of it. So sometimes I think we ourselves will have the answer to how to help ourselves. What can we do to be a better person? Where they've read their scriptures, they've gained their knowledge, they sit in it, and now they forget it. After a while, it becomes normal and it's pushed in the back of your mind. And so what one has to do is they have to keep learning. They have to keep reading. They have to keep mixing with people and keep it being their experience by doing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you made a good point. You learn probably the most from the most traumatic experiences you go through in your life. And a lot of the time, people, you can't help people. You can try and show them the way, but really, you have to help yourself more than anything.
Exactly. Have you noticed, or I've noticed this, right? People have told me, like when I was a young teenager, people would say, oh, do this, do that, oh, if you do that, that'll happen. And it kind of goes in my ear and out the other, and you don't even think twice about it. But today, I now get it. I get those things. And see, the thing is that people are always trying to tell you what to do. They're always giving you it, and they think it's coming from a good place. They're trying to help you, your parents and your uncles and aunties and your neighbour and your best friend. They think it's good to tell you what to do because they want to help you. But the thing is, only you know the answer. And if you don't ask the question, you're not going to seek the answer. Even if someone tells it to you, you won't absorb it. It'll go in your ear and out the other. Until you are personally ready for an answer, you're not going to have it. And so that's what you have to do every day. You ask the questions. You wake up. Why am I in a crappy job? Why? Okay? What do I want to get out of this job? Or why do I live in such a crappy area? Why am I in a bad place? Why do I have a horrible car? You have to ask the questions in order to get an answer. And some people don't. They just whinge that they have this problem. Whinge, and they do absolutely nothing about it. They just stay in the motion of whinging and complaining. And all that's going to do is give you more things to complain about.
Yeah, that's so true. If you don't ask why, you'll never find out. And a lot of the time, Daniel, thanks for sending me that. I'll respond to you in a sec. I forgot what I was going to say now. But, yeah, well, and that's a big thing is that we're all on. A big thing about this though is we're all on different life path journeys, and different stages of spiritual growth and everything, so like, I'm from my age extremely wise, and even like adults like my parents, they might try to tell me things and show me the ways, but I'm already past those kind of illusions and stuff, so sometimes people are thinking like I'm older, this is how I perceive the world, but really the way they perceive the world might not be how the other person perceives the world, so therefore their advice or the way they're trying to help them just won't work because they got different views on reality and have different levels of wisdom.
Well, everyone wants to save the world. Everyone wants to fix everything, all the problems in it. But I think that if you can fix a problem in your own life, then you have the capability of saving the world. You have the capability of saving the world. So because I was reading a book the other day, and it was saying how first you get knowledge to expand your thinking, and then what you do is you get knowledge that you can help the society grow. And what it is if you can help what is in society grow, if you can help your family, then you can help other people. And that's basically the gist of it. If you can help your own family and your own mind, then you can help society grow as a whole. Because you can't go and try to help society, or you can't go and try to help other people, or try to save the world, or try to be Superman, if your own family or if your own mind is in dispute with each other. It's just not possible. What world kingdom has done it? None. So first, I think that you have to master, like Daniel was saying earlier, first you have to master your own mind first, and then you can master society, and then you can master your own family, and then you can master your own neighborhood, and then you can master your own society, and then your own society can master your own province, your own state, then your own country, and that's how it does it. So that's like
kind of going back to what Daniel was saying earlier. I think I've noticed that there is a change taking place on the planet regarding spiritual awareness, and I think it's like a sense of the planet is waking up. Through the devices like the media, where you could say it's a negative thing, I kind of think there's a lot of positive aspects out of the media as well. It's giving us insight to how people are living. It's giving us insight to exactly how people overcome their problems, or how people become wise, how people, we get to see these platforms of amazing people doing the most amazing things. Maybe not running around saving the world, but they're overcome the most atrocities in life. They've overcome it, and they're just great people, really nice human beings. I think at the end of the day, ultimately, we want to be happy, right? That's our goal, is to be happy. And once we figure out, well, what exactly is it to be happy? Is it to buy a fancy house, a fancy car? Will that really make me happy? For a little while it might, but then you're left with an empty hole again inside oneself. So then we go buy another fancy car, a second house, another pair of high heels. yeah, that'll fill up the happy spot for a little bit. Then I'm back to having a hole again. And so we go on this search continuously throughout our life. We're always seeking for the happiness. And I think the answers are incorrect. It's not external. The car, the house, the person isn't going to make you a happy person. It's about discovering yourself. Spiritually, who are you? Well, who are you? Okay, don't just say the name. My name is, and I'm born on this date. I've got blonde hair, green eyes. Nah, that's not who I am. Well, what else am I? Who really am I? And you've got to dig deep inside. And when you start figuring out who you are and all the things that make you be who you are, you start filling up that hole, that emptiness or that search for happiness. You start to see what it is inside you. It's a journey. It's a journey of spiritualness, getting to know oneself. And I think I'm meeting more people like that. It's so funny I come into this room because this is what I was looking for. I've been to 4 previous rooms to this today, searching for like-minded people. And I'd sit in there for 20 minutes, leave, sit in it, and I'm in here. I found yous. This is where yous are. And when I look at the planet as a whole, I think people are waking up. People are becoming aware of other people's successful lives at being a human being, what that actually means. And how does one become a good human being? Do we get that from being spiritual? How do we get that? Does anybody have an answer?
I do. Sorry to jump you, Daniel. With being, I was just going to say Peter James, with being caring, empathetic, and loving and kind and respectful to one another and respecting people, their energy, their souls, and being loving.
Oh, sorry, I had my hand up. I was busy doing something in the background. How rude of me, huh? Yeah, see, interesting conversations like this that are deep and meaningful, we need more of them, don't we? You find, though, that it's only a minority of the population that is really, like the kind of conversation we're having here, truly, how many percentage of the population thinks like this all the time, or like on a regular basis, right? It's not very many. Like when you consider, I'm going to make a video out of this, and it's going to be on YouTube. Now, it's not going to receive very many hits. It'll probably only receive 30, 60, 100 hits, right? However, and those who listen to it will find it interesting and everything, right? But you find another YouTube video where there's a panda bear farting, right? Or scratching his bum hole, and they'll receive 40 million hits. What is wrong with that picture?
Well, sometimes a little humor. Animals do some crazy things, and there is something wrong with that picture, but some people, the laughter can be the best medicine, especially with trying times right now we're all going through. So, but yeah, no, I get your gist of what you're trying to say, Daniel. There should be things that we should be addressing in people as, in general. And Peter James had something here, enlighten without seeking more. Even enlightening, but also like attracts like, and like-minded spirits, and that's a good thing. you'll be attracted in this room tonight talking about a deep conversation, you know. And Daniel, you know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to speak over your YouTube, and I'm going to put out to the universe that, you know what? They've been doing some meditation and stuff with pranic healing and sending love to the planet. I'm literally going to speak that you'll get a lot of hits, and there will be a lot of loving people that will listen to your YouTube. So that's what I'm going to say.
You know what, Daniel? Everybody's at different stages of their existence, and you can't cater for everybody to be on the same wavelength as ourselves. And even ourselves in here, even though we seem to be all on the same page, there's going to be pieces of ourselves that are not. And that panda farting, that would cheer me up if I was crying and sad over a person who betrayed me. It would help me. It would. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't seen the YouTube yet. But you know what I mean? Like the other lady had said, everything serves a purpose. Even the negative things that are out there serves a purpose for us in the moment. It can help us feel that maybe our life's not as bad as what we thought it is by seeing another person suffering or being in a worse condition. But hey, you make that YouTube, and I guarantee you, people that are on the pathway that are looking and searching for others will come across your YouTube. It's only natural. It's only natural to come across what it is, whatever you're presenting to the people that are interested in looking. That's it. And if there's not a lot of people at it, well then, eventually, in time, more people will be at it. But there are heaps of things out on YouTube that are similar to what you're going to do anyway. There's heaps of things out there. I've got my own YouTube channel as well, and I'm heavily into this type of stuff. I've seen it's a great medium for people to express themselves and share their experience.
Well, I just used the panda bear farting for just as an example, but you know, I could use other examples like soap operas, right? Like fictional soap operas. People spend hours and hours and hours watching television, nonsense programming, right? Just like game shows and stuff, right? What do you get out of watching a game show? A little bit of like fun or something? You know, you just wasted 4 hours a day in front of the television with nonsensical garbage, for the most part. And yeah, I understand like documentaries, right? Great, you know, History Channel, great. But do the majority of people watch those type of programs? Like, do the majority of people really love to listen to stuff that we're talking about on a daily basis, right? See, I never get tired of this stuff, right? I could go on and on for every day, and it just never get boring. But it bores a lot of people, right? They're just not attuned properly. Now, here's the thing: like, I understand not everyone can be like that, right? We live in a world where it's a fallen world, and it's a miserable place and all that, where everyone's focused on troubles and earning a living and raising a family and driving to work and all that kind of things, right? It's not like everyone can think about God like 100% of the time. But is that what I'm asking for? Is to people to be exactly on my level, otherwise they're doomed or something? No. You know, I was not always like this. You know, for the first 28 years of my life, I was agnostic. I had no spiritual path. I didn't care about these things. But see, now I do care, and I have a responsibility to use my time. This is why I'm making a video of it instead of just us casually talking here. So I want a record of what we're talking about, you know, for maybe a future generation, right? In the future, someone's going to come across it, and it's going to mean something to that one person. Even if it does only get 20 people hits or something, all it takes is one out of that 20 to get something to make it click, and them say like, now I'm feeling motivated here. I'm getting what you're talking about. And hopefully I didn't cut out there. Now, you know, we can do our own little thing. Like, I don't have to have 1 million followers, right? Like, I'm not really looking for followers in the first place. You know, I don't want people following me around, like worshiping me or anything like that. Well, that's silly, right? You know, it's like the same thing. Like, if people fall down and bow toward Jesus when he walks up to them, all Jesus says is like, get up, and giggling, right? God, like, why would God, when you think of it, like, I don't know, let's say I were God. Let's say Daniel, the angel right here, has become God himself, right here in the flesh on earth. Would I want all of you to bow down, like, in person, right? Imagine we're in person, not in a chat room. You know, like, to bow down and like, bowing and glorifying me and touching my feet and licking my toes and everything. Oh, come on. Like, that's so childish, you know? All I would say is, like, get up. Don't be silly. Like, go and meditate or something, right? Do something charitable or...
Well, I mean, I have an opinion. First of all, the one thing you should do is take all your money and put it in your local economy. These are fairly simple things. Did you know that your local farmer produces all of the local food that you need? And these are very simple things. Take your money. Did you know that 2% of the money that stays, if you shop at Walmart, which I assume most of you do, stays in the local economy? These are very simple things to do. Just don't shop there. Don't put your money in Bear Stearns. Don't put your money in Goldman Sachs. Don't put your money in Citibank. These are easy things to do. You go local. Everybody's complaining. You know, they're all complaining about things we can't do and that we can do so simply. Don't shop there. Don't put your money in that bank. It's easy to transfer money. I've done it every day. You know, I'm sick and tired of hearing about people, you know, YouTube channels. I don't need YouTube to know that I have to put my money in a local bank, shop locally, buy from my local farmer, to keep the money in the local community so it prospers, so 2% of the money doesn't go out of my community.
Okay, I think the downside guy because he's totally off topic and it has nothing to do with economies and Walmarts and shopping. That's not what this program is about. You know, we're recording this and I want to stay on topic. So sorry, Cloverleaf, but you're gone.
Yeah, and he jumped the mic, which I don't think that was very kind of him. But yeah. Anyway, you know what video liked, guys? I used to like Hey Babu. I used to like you know the other series. It was in the Disney, The Lion King. I like that one because the thing with these things is that they have a lot of knowledge in them. Like for example, if you watch CSI today, or if you watch like a regular program, you're not gonna get the same as much. I mean, you're not gonna learn anything as you were to learn from a Disney movie. You know, as children, they teach the children. It's the children that learn the most. But when you become adults and you start to choose what programs you can watch, then that's when it hits the curve. That's when so really, honestly, down to the core of it, it's really our fault. Because it's all made out of free will. They didn't do it to us. We're not a product of it because we chose to do it. We chose to do it out of our own free will. We chose to do it out of our own free will. Because as kids, we learned, stuff like this in Disney movies, and we couldn't watch rated R movies because they were rated R, and they had bad. They didn't have anything uplifting, and it was pretty bad. And besides, it doesn't really, you can't really learn from it. All it is just something that it's not gonna take effect to you. But I think watching Disney movies is a good thing. You know, I think watching Disney movies is a good thing for people who want to walk their spiritual path. And you don't have to watch spiritual Disney movies to walk their spiritual path. You can do as Jesus did, and walk, and talk with God. That's what he did.
Oh yeah, sure. That's one big part of spiritual enlightenment and all that is just having an outlook of life like a kid, and never changing, never limiting yourself to anything like, now I'm an adult, I can't do this, I can't act that way, But having the outlook of a kid, on life, always asking questions and wondering, you get so much further and you're a lot more happier and carefree just being like a kid. And I'm happy to say I'm a 20-year-old child.
Your childlike self didn't go anywhere. It's still there. You've just aged. It didn't go anywhere. And at the end of the day, as a grown adult, you are the one that makes all the choices and decisions. So if you really liked something that you done when you were a young child, what's stopping you from doing that today?
Yeah, and Jesus says, unless you humble yourself and become like this child, you will not enter the kingdom of God, or something to that effect. That's not exactly what he said, of course, but the whole point is, like, you have to see, kids learn, right? That's why they go to school. They learn fast. Now, to become like a 60-year-old old fart, not learning anything, and you're stuck in your ways, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, you have to become like a child again and be like born again. That's the whole term, like being born again as a new child. And every day is a new excitement. It's a new journey. You learn, and everything's exciting and fun. And like when you're a kid, everything's fun. Every day is a brand spanking new day to play around and explore and go on a journey and have fun and play but see, a lot of, when you look at like the average like retired person, I remember walking into a retirement home here recently a few months ago. I was handing out flowers. Now, one of the nursing home residents had their door open, and I put a flower in their doorknob, and I looked, and the husband and wife were just glued to the television. They're just paralyzed. They're just glued to the television. And I said, "Hello, sir, flower." They didn't budge, right? They're just sitting there like zombies. And then, so I came back later and said, "Hey, don't forget your flower there." It's like they didn't even hear me. They couldn't even hear me. Maybe they were deaf. I don't know. But it was like they're not living, They're just paralyzed in front of the television set all day long. Now, I understand, they're retired and all that, but come on, like, how they go granny, when you see a granny getting up and dancing, we need to see more of that, right? Like, old people becoming children again.
Indeed, but a lot of it's the programming and conditioning and people caring about what other people think of them too much, and that bears on a lot of their decisions. If you look at a lot of things in this world, like people they act a certain way because the television tells them that's the way they should act, and they know if they do act like that, people judge them or not think of them like what the TV portrays as what the best kind of way to be is. So it all comes a lot back to caring about what other people think and not like worrying about that. The programming and conditioning we all put into us through all forms of media.
Yeah, you reminded me of my brother Jesse. He's the type that's totally sold and bought into the whole, picket fence, pink house, 2 cars in the garage, 2.5 kids. Like he literally has 2 kids, right? A girl and a boy. He has his wife Tracy, and he's trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? Like make more money so he can have a bigger house and move on to he buys into that, right? He watches television, he plays guitar, smokes a little bit of pot here and there, but he's bought into but see, when you're raising a family, I understand that but see, my lifestyle, it's like totally opposite of that kind of idyllic relationship, like with a husband, wife, 2 kids, and a full-time job where the husband works and the mother stays at home. And, like I live alone. I've lived alone for years now. I'm not married. I have no kids. I have no. I'm not presently employed full-time. I'm trying to get making a living doing psychic readings, but that's not panning out at the exact moment. But anyways, but even if I do make money in psychic readings, that's not an average job, is it? Like that's kind of a fringe thing. There's no way I could fit into the whole. And another thing too is I don't watch television, right? I don't watch the mainstream media anymore. There's a time when I had CNN on my television, but I got rid of my television years ago, and I'm not brainwashed by all this nonsense. And one good thing is in World Issues 300, which I went through in grade 12 in high school, they taught us about propaganda, right? Media propaganda, how it's all like brainwashing stuff and teaching you like misinformation a lot of the times just by like the titles of stories, right? You can twist the title of a story to catch the reader's attention, and then it summarizes the basic story, but you have to carefully use your words because you can influence someone and cause someone like great distress emotionally simply because your word is story wrong, right? You have to be careful about those things, and once you see through that madness, that's what it is. It's like madness, lies and propaganda and twisting the truth and everything. Okay, PD, end this program here. This is the 4th video